To another developing situation, but across the borders now, and frantic Afghans trying to flee the Taliban takeover clung to an American plane as it prepared to take off from Kabul airport, as thousands of people desperately searched for a flight out of the country on Monday. US troops fired shots into the air in attempts to disperse the crowd. Chaotic scenes erupted at the airport after all commercial flights were cancelled.
Dramatic footage posted on social media shows hundreds of men running alongside a US Air Force plane as it rolls down a runway, with some clinging to the side of it. In other videos, civilians frantically climb up an already overcrowded and buckling set of air stairs. Crowds watched on as those who successfully climbed the stairs helped others up, while some hung from the stair railing by their hands. Panicked families with frightened children in tow and laden with luggages were trying to escape the incoming Taliban regime, 2 decades after the group's harsh rule was toppled by US-led invasion. The scenes at the airport just came hours after Taliban leaders ordered their fighters into Kabul to maintain orders as Afghan President Ashraf Ghani fled the country. Outside the airport, an easy calm held over Kabul as armed Taliban insurgents patrolled the streets and set up checkpoints. Meanwhile, Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has applauded the Taliban takeover, describing it as breaking the chains of slavery.
That is a story that we will be keeping close tabs on. Elsewhere and back on the continent, business tycoon and opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema was declared winner of Zambia's hotly contested presidential election, defeating incumbent Edgar Lungu. Hichilema defeated President Edgar Lungu by more than 1 million votes. It was Hichilema's 6th attempt at winning the presidency.
Thousands of Hichilema supporters flocked onto the streets of Lusaka, erupting into song and dance as they cheered, whistled and waved party flags, marching towards the International Conference Center where the results were announced. The 59-year-old veteran opposition politician beat his longtime rival Lungu following a bracing race held against the backdrop of deteriorating standards of living, with official results showing a landslide of 2,810,757 for Hichilema and 1,814,201 for President Edgar Lungu. Hundreds took their victory lap to the entrance of the presidential residence, where soldiers and police kept guard as they chanted in victory Bali, referring to Hichilema by his nickname, which means father of many. Hichilema enjoyed the backing of 10 opposition parties, which threw their weight behind the United Party for National Development, UPND. This would mark the 6th time Hichilema has run for the top job and the 3rd time he has challenged 64-year-old incumbent Lungu, who narrowly won the last contest in 2016. With Hichilema as president promising to rebuild investor confidence, he will inevitably face an economy wrecked by high debt, inflation and unemployment. Last year, the copper-rich Southern African nation became the first country on the continent to default in its debt in coronavirus era.